live with our webinar on a specific company. And what we have done this time is we have done something a little different. So we are not trying to cover one specific company this time. Rather, we are trying to give our viewers and our audience a overview of the entire lay of the land of the pre-IPO space, right? So the idea is to cover most of the companies where there has been any significant change in pricing, whereas where there has been any significant change in the quality of management, and to see and understand whether there is anything which needs to be changed in terms of our portfolio allocations. So without further ado, let's go to the agenda. This particular webinar, because we are not covering a lot of content on one company, I would really want this to be interactive. So I will be on top of whatever questions are coming in real time. And in case we are not covering any specific company which you might have a query on, or even of the companies which are being presented, if there is any query which you want to post to us and want to get a clarification done, please put it in the comment box at that particular point of time, and we'll try to answer everything on a live basis. Great. So with that, this is what we have lined up for you guys in today's webinar. We want to understand where Tata Tech is going. So Tata Tech has a wild run in the last 3 months. Where are we on Reliance? So most of our audience and most of our clients will know that Reliance has always been in one of our negative lists. And since that time, Reliance has actually gone down by 30%. So let's reevaluate whether Reliance still makes a logical bet. NSE had recently posted its quarterly updates and its half yearly updates. So we'll try to break down the new results, or the latest results by the company, and see whether there has been any significant change. Uh, Lastly, in terms of the updates, we'll try and cover the dividend updates from the company. So this year has been very good in terms of dividends. We have seen dividends from companies who in the last decades had not given dividend, but have suddenly come up with a huge dividend payout. And lastly, we'll be covering the most interesting product which we have launched till date as a company, which is something which we like to call as pre-IPO baskets. So we will spend a little time on this. We will take your feedback as to what are the challenges you face in this space, and if we can help you uh, create a more easy investing journey as far as the private markets go. So let's get started on this. Uh, for our newer audience, as you know, Altius is a alternative investment platform. The idea is to make available investment opportunities which are not otherwise available to retail investors. The idea is to do it in a absolutely digitized manner so that there is no friction as far as it comes to investing. We have over 25 years of cumulative experience in the financial services space. Uh, Previously, we used to run an outfit which is called Sapphire Wealth, which was essentially a full-fledged brokering house. So we were all direct members of NSE BSE. So the people running this company are all veterans in the finance and the equity space specifically. Over the last decade of operations, I think we have served close to 8,000 investors, which were located in 15 plus countries. And we would have seen fund flows of, I think, almost 600 crores plus. On an annualized basis, we see a fund flow currently of around 150 to 200 CR. And yeah, that's a little about Altius. Uh, Moving on to the next slide, we want to cover firstly how has the pre-IPO space in general been. So without focusing on any company, without focusing on any technical data, let's just understand how has the pre-IPO space or the unlisted space panned out. So as most of you would know, as of you would have seen, 2021 and 2022 are very, very different times. 2021 was an hyperactive uh, year if you compare solely from an IPO perspective. There were IPOs coming out every week. All of the IPOs were practically doing well. We had bumper listings in so many IPOs. Most of the people who invested in 2021 in IPOs would have made an approximate of 30, 40, 50, 100% during their listing gains. 2022, because of the global macro conditions, because of the Russia Ukraine war, because of the change in the inflation rate, which has come very high globally, the money supply has suddenly gotten very restricted. And which is why there is less money which is chasing investment opportunities, and that has led to a crash in valuations across the globe. So, if I first zoom out, I think uh, Nasdaq is down 25, 28% in the last 12 months. Most of the unicorns or the tech giants of the world, right from Google to Apple to Tesla to Meta, which is essentially Facebook, all of them would have been at least rationalized in terms of their market caps and their share price by 30, 40, 50%. I think Meta is down by 70, 75%. Google again is down. So while these are still solid companies, I still maintain these are companies which essentially own the entire internet. But because the overall risk aversion in the space has increased, all of the tech companies have done a little badly. And because Indian markets are fairly dependent upon foreign funds, the IPO activity has really gone down. So in 2022, we have seen fairly lower IPO activity. Less number of companies have come out for an IPO. Uh, Less number of companies have gotten listed, and even the listing size is fairly small. So if on an average last year most IPOs would have raised say 1,000 to 2,000 crore kind of a figure, this year most companies would have raised somewhere between a 200 to a 500 crore kind of a check size. Uh, Second, like I was just speaking about the unicorns and the tech giants, unicorn and tech giants of the startup space have gone out of favor, right? And you can see that both in the listed and the unlisted space, Paytm, Nykaa, Zomato, all have taken a beating, despite doing much better numbers than what they had done last year. In the pre-IPO space, FarmEasy, MobiKwik, all have done phenomenally bad. Most of them are down by 30, 40, 50, 60% from their 52-week highs. So I think what the theme broadly of the next year or the next couple of years will be is sustainable growth with profitability. And the days when we were simply chasing top line growth without bothering whether this business will ever be able to make money, I think that is out of flavor, at least for the next foreseeable future. It may suddenly come back. There may be a change in stance on the interest rates, and money may suddenly become excess in the system again. But if we consider the current times, if we consider the current date and age, we expect the investing sentiments to be more aligned with companies who have a stable business, who know how to generate money, and who can create a bottom line and not just a top line. Lastly, I think one crucial factor which we have seen in the pre-IPO space is that now that people invest at the wrong times, right? A lot of people invest when the market is at its peak, and I think, like Warren Buffett said, stock market is the only place where people buy uh, expensive and sell at cheap prices, whereas they should be doing the exact opposite. You should be selling at high prices and investing at the low prices. So whenever markets give us opportunities, that is where patient capital. So which is why I've written that in the pre-IPO space, what is most important is patient capital. So you do not need to see this as a run for the next quarter or a run for the next half year or run for the next year. What we have generally seen is that the best set of clients who have really made money with us have been invested in the space for at least a 2 to 3 year time span. And that is when the value unlocking happens. That is when you get your money's worth in gold, right? So these points of time wherein the prices are really rationalized, a lot of people are scared of investing, is when you actually get deals which you will never otherwise get, and that is what creates phenomenal returns for your portfolios. So this is how the overall space has been. Because of the lower IPO activity, there is a lower supply of capital in the pre-IPO space. Most of the tech companies have gone out of flavor. The flavor of the year or the flavor of the next couple of years is majorly companies which can generate profits. And thirdly, I think for the pre-IPO space specifically, a lot of companies are now giving you great entry points, which was not the case for the last 1.5 years. With a short intro on this space, now let's get down to the specifics. The first company, like we covered in our agenda, is Tata Technologies. So we will be covering Tata Tech. Tata Tech has been the talk of the town for the last 6 months. So just to give you a background for people who are not familiar with Tata Tech is the EV and design consultancy arm for Tata Motors. Tata Motors holds a majority stake in the company. I think close to 85-90% is held by Tata Motors. So what Tata Technologies essentially does is it does auto design and consultancy both for Tata Motors and for external clients. Because of the sudden change in the EV space, with so many people who have now transitioned to EV and Tata Motors actually leading the race in the EV space, Tata Technologies has really done well, both in terms of financials. So if you would see, they 22 financials, they had grown their top line and bottom line both by I think 50% and 84% respectively. So Tata Technologies is really doing well in terms of its financials. And essentially the business is extremely linked to Tata Motors. So if Tata Motors does well, they generate a lot of contracts, they get a lot of use cases in EV, and which is why they are able to do well. Let's now look at historically where Tata Tech has been. So Tata Tech has been one of our very loved companies because one, it's a Tata Group company where we have a lot of respect and we really like the ethos of the entire Tata Group. And we started investing in Tata Tech somewhere around, I think, close to 2013 or 2014. So it's been about a good 8-9 years since we've been invested into it. And we would have started somewhere in the range of, I think, a 600 or a 650 rupee per share kind of valuation. But the bulk of the deals in Tata Tech started, or the good supply came in somewhere in the range of 1900 to 2000 levels. And this was barely, I think, 1.5 to 2.5 years back. In the last 1 year, after Tata Tech came out with the news of an IPO, Tata Tech's share price has gone crazy. It has gone very, very high. So it has gone up from 2000 rupees per share to currently 7000 rupees per share, which is like a 300% return in the last 3.5 years, right? And why we are covering Tata Tech here is because a lot of people are now asking us questions that, is this the right time to stay invested? Or is it, a time that we should start looking outwards out of Tata Tech? So what we tried and did is we tried to understand how Tata Tech is functioning. So Tata Tech is at a very high PE right now, right? So at a current pricing of 7,000, 7,300, it is currently at a 70x multiple to its last year's earnings. Whereas Tata Elxsi, the listed arm which is in a similar business, is at a 62x multiple. So what this basically tells us is that while Tata Tech is an excellent company, while Tata Tech is in an industry which is about to take off, even then our ethos always suggests that we want to enter into companies at logical valuations. So we would not want to enter into companies where the margin of safety, so called, is very low, right? So therefore, Tata Tech at a PE of 70x, whereas its sister concern Tata Elxsi is at a 62x or a 63x multiple. Basis when you actually check the share price is a very high PE in our opinion. Second, what is very important is there was a recent article in the Economic Times wherein the informal IPO guidance by a lot of industry experts or industry veterans was given somewhere around 15 to 20,000 crores of market cap. At this point of time, if we actually check what is the current market cap, that is at this current pricing of 7,000, that will come to somewhere close to 30,000 crores. So what we see is that the current share price is actually 30% higher than what is the IPO guidance given by the street. And at these valuations, we are generally not comfortable, staying invested. And therefore, the attempt here is to highlight the facts, both from an absolute PE multiple and second from a valuation perspective from industry veterans, that Tata Tech may at this point be a little overpriced. So people who are holding Tata Tech might decide to sort of relook at their positions. One crucial factor in Tata Tech is also that they had announced a bonus and a split. So they had announced a 1:1 bonus and then a split, and therefore every shareholder of Tata Tech will essentially stand to hold 10 shares of Tata Tech on 16th January. So I think In 3 days, the record date is there. And if you're holding, say, 100 shares on 17th January, essentially it will become 1000 shares. Uh, Moving on to the next company, NSE. NSE, again, like a lot of our uh, prolific investors would know, is one of our very, very beloved portfolio companies. We started investing into NSE somewhere around 2014, 2015, and that was at a pricing of, I think, close to 800 rupees per share. That was the first transaction we had done in NSE. Then we had invested into it at 1100, then 1600, then 2200, then even at current levels, we have invested and a lot of our clients have invested along with us. So this is how the price graph looks like. Most of the people who would have invested at least 2.5, 3 years back would be now looking at a return of almost 200% in the last 3 years. What we are doing right now is we are trying to take a results update on NSE. So NSE, as everyone knows, is India's largest stock exchange. It holds the majority share both in delivery and F&O trades. In the F&O segment, it has an overwhelming majority of 97% of the market share. But all of that has been covered in a previous webinar. If you're looking to understand more on NSE, our entire deep dive has been made. It is there on our channel. You can just go ahead and look at the uh, numbers. We have done an entire financial analysis. We have compared NSE to global exchanges, how the revenue flows in, what is our outlook, what is the IPO timeline. Everything is covered in that. But what I wanted to bring out here is this is the latest data on volume by NSE in various segments. CM is basically a cash segment. This is futures, this is options, and currency futures and currency options. So if you look closely, what you will see is that cash segment or cash market has gone down by 18%, futures has gone up by 7%, and sorry, yeah, sorry. And equity options have gone up by 113%. And this is again replicated in the currency segment, wherein futures have gone up by 61% and options have gone up by 103%. Why I'm showing you this is because I really wanted to highlight what is going on in NSE or what is going on in the Indian markets per se. People investing in delivery trades, wherein they are paying money to an exchange and shares are actually moving into your account, is not increasing, right? So the entire thought that retail investors are coming in and they're buying a lot of shares, I don't think that holds true anymore. At least if you compare 21 versus 22. Equity futures has grown, but it has grown by a very small percentage of 7%. Now, why do you think that is the case? Why do you think equity futures is not growing? And I will pause here and I will uh, uh, just allow someone to say take a stab at it in the comment section. Why do you think FNO, where futures is growing by a 7%, measly 7%, options is growing by 113%? So I'll just wait for the next 5 seconds to see if someone gives a response to this in the comment section. Good. Yeah. Yeah. I have received a couple of correct answers. So, yes, the reason why futures have gone down or have not increased is essentially because of the changes in the margin requirements. So, a lot of changes have been done in the margin requirements by SEBI, and therefore, now it is much more difficult to create a leveraged position as opposed to what it was earlier. And therefore, equity options is what is growing by beyond all logical means. So equity options have grown by 113%, whereas futures has grown by only 7%. And why this is important for NSE is essentially FNO is where an exchange makes money, right? This is where you charge the juicy commissions or juicy transaction fees from the investors. And this is practically done at a very, very low cost wherein there is very little to make. And with NSE holding a 97% share in the FNO segment, what we see is both the segments wherein NSE is very active has grown by leaps and bounds. And this increase in volume is actually reflecting in the financials. So if you look at H1 financials for NSE, its revenue is up by 57%. It is at 6,293 versus 4,000 crores in H1 22. And its PAT is up by 59%, leading to a PAT of almost 3,500 crores versus a 2,150 crores in H1 22. So what is clearly apparent and what I love about this company is just look at the PAT to revenue multiple. So almost 50% of what you are generating in revenue is what is hitting your bottom line. So it's a very low cost operational setup once you have gotten the volumes in place. And lastly, what we always do in all of our comparisons, let's understand how the peer valuation holds. So NSE at a 3200 multiple with a TTM PE is at 20x multiple, whereas BSC last taken at a 580 multiple is currently at a 37x multiple. And this is where we really like NSE in the sense that you're getting to invest into a monopoly company which has a 97% market share, which is doing very well. Reliance Retail. Reliance Retail has been in our no-buy list. And when I say no-buy list, we mean that we have always asked people to refrain from buying Reliance Retail. Now, why do we do that, right? So Reliance Retail is India's largest retailer. If you have been in touch with the news in the recent couple of months, I think Reliance Retail is trying and buying up everything which is available under the sun in the retailing space. So recently they acquired Metro Cash and Carry. They have acquired a number of fashion brands. They have acquired Hamleys. They have taken rights to most of the premium labels which are present in the country and outside. But there is a reason why we have not ever advocated investing into Reliance, and that is something to do with the valuation. And today we are trying to get our audience to understand why investing into Reliance does not make sense, or why the valuation specifically of Reliance is a little lopsided. So Jeffries is a stock research firm. They are one of the world's largest firms, which are highly reputed. They had valued RRVL, which is Reliance Retail Ventures Limited, which is the holding company or the parent company for Reliance Retail, at a valuation of $100 billion. And this was sometime around a year and a half back. If we roughly calculate as per the EPS, the price of Reliance Retail should come somewhere around 1375 per share, and the diluted EPS after converting all of the convertible instruments should come at 1100 rupees per share. But if you closely follow the balance sheet, you will find a twist in the capital structure. And what is this twist? That is, there are two instruments, a convertible preference capital and a convertible debenture, which has been issued by the company management to certain specific shareholders, which are 80 crores in numbers and 330 crores in face value. And once you, so to put it simply, these two instruments will essentially convert into equity at some point of time, and therefore the equity base will expand from what it is. So I think roughly currently the equity base is around 5,000 crores. That, when added to these two conversions, will grow to somewhere around 9,000 crores. And this will actually bring your share price to 783 rupees per share, right? So what we said, what even if we go very aggressive that Reliance Retail is going to completely disrupt the industry and everything is going to be sold off Reliance, even then we would only be comfortable giving say a 20, 30, 40, 50% premium to this pricing, right? So therefore we would not want to invest into Reliance at a pricing of anywhere above 1500, 1600, 1700 rupees. But if you see in the pre-IPO space, the pricing for Reliance Retail has been absolutely haywire. So the 52-week high of Reliance was at 3,300 rupees per 3,400 rupees per share. But in the last 12 months, it has corrected significantly. It has gone down by 24%, and it is right now at 2,600 per share. A lot of our people have been asking us that does it make sense to invest into Reliance at these valuations? Our answer is on the slide in front of you. We think that the effective valuation as per Jeffries is somewhere around 800 rupees per share. We are happy to give this is a slightly dated valuation 2 years back, so we are happy to give a premium to this. But even if we give a premium, we are not okay, giving a more than a 50, 60, 70% premium over the current pricing. So therefore, at 2,600 per share, we think that this might not be the best time to invest into Reliance. So, post covering all of the companies which we had slated, let's now move on to the dividend section. This year has been good phenomenally from a dividend perspective. Three of our portfolio companies have paid massive dividends. Philips India Limited announced its first interim dividend in 25 years, and it paid out a total dividend of 222 rupees per share on a share which is worth only 1,000 rupees, which gives you a dividend yield of almost 21.6%. which is phenomenally high. HDFC Securities, this is a master dividend payer. All of our investors who are holding HDFC would know that they pay out almost 600 rupees in dividend per year, which gives you almost a 5%, 6% dividend yield. This year, keeping with the trend, HDFC has already paid 220 rupees in terms of interim dividend, and we expect this to continue in the next 2 quarters and for the company to be able to give out another 500, 600 in dividend per uh, in this year. And the yield on this HDFC comes somewhere close to 4.5 to 5% basis the ongoing market price. Fino Paytech, which is the parent company of Fino Small Finance Bank, which is now a listed company, had given a dividend of 37.7 rupees to its shareholders. And this was again at a pricing of roughly, I think, 250, 260. At that pricing, it leads to a CMP of almost 23%. This, however, as in case of Philips, seems to be like a one-time special dividend, and I do not expect this to be repeated. So these two, Philips and Fino, have given a one-time special dividend, but most of the shareholders have made a killing in these stocks. And HDFC, as has been the trend, has given a 5% average dividend payout. Great. So I think that covers our entire section on a wrap up of the entire pre-IPO space. We covered how the industry has been. We covered how we covered three specific companies where we thought that there was a lot of changes, and now we are bringing you on to our final launch. So let me go back in time and let me share a small understanding on why we launched this product. So a lot of times what we saw that a lot of our investors were essentially buying one or two or three stocks in their portfolio and then they were sitting tight. But the cardinal rule of investing is that you cannot concentrate your portfolio yet rest. You have to diversify. Do not put all your eggs in the same basket. Put it across multiple asset classes. In every asset classes, put it across multiple companies. And to assist users in that journey, to assist our audience in that journey, we came up with a new launch of something called a pre-IPO basket. Essentially, what pre-IPO basket is, it allows you to create a diversified portfolio of pre-IPO stocks in one single click, right? And we'll be talking about this. We'll be doing a small walkthrough for you to understand what this is and how this plays out. But essentially, this is the product which has been received very well. So we did a beta launch. We got some of our early investors to give us feedback onto this, and we have received very overwhelmingly positive feedback on this particular product. So let me now take you through this product, and happy to take on any questions post that. So the question is, why did we launch baskets, right? So the idea, what we spoke about earlier, diversification. So generally, people, you would invest into a less number of companies, and therefore they would not be able to get a portfolio made, and they will be subject to concentrated risks of that particular stock. So the first thing which a basket helps in is diversification. Second is it helps you invest in one single click. So instead of selecting and creating multiple orders for multiple companies, a basket will allow you to create a portfolio in one single click, invest into the entire basket in one single click. And thirdly, what we have tried and done is we give you a more favorable pricing as compared to investing into individual stocks. So all of the baskets will be discounted from their individual pricings. So if say CSK is available at a price of X, and if you buy that same stock through a basket, you will be getting a more favorable pricing and a 1% discount on the entire basket value. Now, let's do a small walkthrough on the baskets section. Let me just transition my screen. Yes. So, as everyone here possibly already knows, this is how our trading platform looks like. You can log on to trade.altiusinvestech.com. The link is there in the description. And what we have done is we have created this basket feature. So to go to the basket feature, what you need to do is you need to go to alternate, or you can just click on place order here. So this is the link to the pre-IPO flagship basket. This will take you to the pre-IPO bucket section. So like I said, we have built out long-term diversified, but we have given you baskets to build a long-term diversified portfolio easily. These are simple and smart investment portfolio. We have at this point of time introduced three portfolios: the pre-IPO flagship basket, the top 10 stocks, and dividend kings. And each of these are very thematic. So each of these have a specific logic with which the basket has been built. So if we talk about the pre-IPO flagship basket, it is the list. It is a basket of four of the best pre-IPO companies in our opinion, and these are companies which are available at reasonable valuations with a strong market hold. The tested holding period is about 2 to 3 years. The number of stocks in this basket is around four, and the minimum investment is around 60K. Now let's give you a demo on how this entire basket feature works. So essentially, you come onto your dashboard, you come onto the pre-IPO basket page, and what you see here is an overview. This is the basic logic with which the basket has been built. So you've tried to come up with companies which are in a monopoly position, which are at a great entry price, which are backed by good promoters, and are on an IPO path. What we have done, which is most interesting, is we have given you investing rationale. And I would request you to read this very carefully before investing, because we have tried and summarized everything that is to know about that particular company into this one summary. So, like your pre-IPO flagship basket consists of four companies: CSK, HDB, Ixigo, and Studs. We have sort of given you the entire summary here. So for CSK, we have mentioned why do we think CSK makes sense. So it's the second most valuable IPL team. It will give you a reference to the Forbes valuation. Forbes valued it at 270. It's currently at a much lower pricing valuation compared to other franchisees. The IPL media rights. How does it make sense? How does it impact the company? Similarly, for HDB, we cover a little about the company, that is the flagship NBFC from the house of HDFC Bank. Why does the pricing make sense? We compare it with the Bajaj Finance in terms of the loan book, IPO readiness, and we also compare on how the valuation for HDB has moved in the last couple of years. Similarly, we try and cover Ixigo. Similarly, we try and cover Studs accessories. So Ixigo, which is the online travel platform, we try and compare Ease My Trip and MMT. We give what we think is the core differentiating factor for Ixigo. Similarly, for Studs, why we think it is a market leader, where has the price gone from and where has it moved to? What is special about Stud, its manufacturing process, and we touch upon its IPO plans. So this basket gives you a very easy way to have an understanding on what logic have we used to build out the companies, and then you can go ahead and read why each of these companies makes sense to invest in. Uh, Once say you are comfortable with the investment, what you essentially need to do is you need to see what the quantities are. These are fixed quantities which can be invested into, and then you need to set in the number of baskets. So say if I wanted to invest into one basket, I could simply enter one here and I could press invest now. As you see, the gross basket value for this investment is 61,000, but you get a basket discount of 617 rupees, leading to a net price of 61,112. You can click on invest now. We will just let it load for a second. Yeah, so this will essentially take you to the payment page, wherein you can go ahead and make the payment. And once you have made the payment, this will show up in your order book. So in your order book, it will reflect here that you are investing into the pre-IPO flagship basket, like it is visible here. This particular line item, 13 Jan, is what we just created. And then once the shares are transferred to your account, you will be able to again track your holdings in the holding statement. This obviously will also reflect into your holding statement like it would have done for any other company. For our attendees here, like we had promised, we are also doing a launch discount offering for the attendees on this call. So you can go ahead, and if you're placing the order for the basket, you can use the code basket 500. This will come when you click on invest now. You will see an option apply coupon code. You can use this coupon basket 500. This will give you a discount of 500 rupees on your purchase. This is valid only for people on this call, and this is valid for only a span of 24 hours from now. So we are giving the attendees on this call a 1 day time span to invest into it. This is just so that we can launch a new product and we can get more people to try it out. That's broadly what we wanted to cover in terms of our pre-IPO updates for the industry, for the specific companies, and the launch of the new product, the pre-IPO baskets. What we'll do now is we'll take some time to answer any questions which might have come up in the interim. Anyone who's also wanting to ask a question regarding any other company in the pre-IPO space, you can please put it on the chat. We will try and answer, to the best of our abilities. Uh, okay. So is the event started? I think yes, yes. Would help if you could provide a clear indication of whether one should buy or not buy or sell a particular stock. Okay, so Mr. Venkat, we are not registered investment advisors, and therefore we do not give a clear buy or a sell recommendation. What we try and do is we try and bring out the facts of the case so that you have all the material knowledge required to make a logical decision. Would you also be good if to advise the apt time for entering a particular stock? So what we've done to address that particular concern is we have created the basket, and that is an offering which helps you to sort of get access to quality stocks which have been picked by experts. But what I would also like to highlight here for the baskets is that the basket is not a managed fund. So it is not like a mutual fund wherein you invest and there is an active management going on. It is simply a method which allows you to buy a bunch of stocks together and to invest into it as a collection. So once it is moved to your demat account, the decision to sell or to liquidate or to add will have to be taken by the end user itself. Hi Altius, what recommend new stocks? Again, Mr. Munaka, like I said, we have created three baskets which will help you form a base for your investment journey. You can check those baskets out. It will help you, get some perspective on why certain stocks are good or certain stocks are bad. Uh, how do you advise on the exit of stocks from the baskets? So, Mr. Kishore, essentially what we try and do is we connect with our audience on a regular basis every month through webinars. And in these webinars are where we will generally highlight where we find that a particular stock is now not in the investable zone. We will again try and bring out the facts. And that is generally how we communicate. Along with this, what we also do is we send you a monthly newsletter, and that newsletter is very detailed and consists of all of the data which we want to communicate to our investing audience. So with a mix of that data pointer plus, if you attend the regular communications or regular webinars from Altius, you will be updated on when is it a good time to exit stocks from the basket. uh, Lava. So lava, Mr. Malu, could you rephrase your question to help us understand a little better on what do you want us to clarify on lava? Why is Blue Smart lot so high? Blue Smart is essentially a closely held company still, so it is not available. So the sellers and the buyers both are in a larger block size. Plus the ROFR is applicable. ROFR is a right of first refusal, so every transfer has to be validated by the company, and therefore it is not feasible to do it in a very small ticket size. Why there is a difference between buy and sell? So essentially, the buy price is the buy and sell is the difference which Altius generates to run this entire show. Because we, unlike other platforms, we do not charge any transaction fee, any stamp duty. So everything which is costing a client is built out into the pricing so that the transaction method is easy. If you compare Altius with other platforms, you will see that our pricing is still uh, one of the most competitive in the space, and we do not charge anything at the end of the transaction, which a lot of other platforms do. So the idea is to give investors a simple method to invest. Number of shares into price is what you pay. As simple as that. When will Tata Capital trade? Mr. Monaga, I am not aware. Tata Capital, there is actually no supply till date. We have not gotten any sellers, and therefore, at this point of time, we will not be able to sort of source Tata Capital for you. I would like to know what all parameters to consider while choosing the company in pre IPO. So, to Champion Wealth creators, if you could send us your mail ID on our company's page or to support at altiusinvestech.com. We can then connect with you and help you understand this a little better. Uh, because it's a huge thesis which we follow before we select or shortlist these companies. We have covered this in a previous webinar. We can also share that link with you. Please bring SME IPO also. SME, we are planning to bring out a product around that. Once we are ready with that product, we'll definitely get in touch with you. Can you suggest a buy price range, Ruhan? So, Ruhan, generally, like we said, we are not RIAs, therefore, we do not give you a entry price and an exit price. But what we generally do, and what is generally a good strategy in pre-IPO markets, is to invest into a portfolio of logical companies at logical prices. And I think that's true for any investment, but more so in the pre-IPO space. And baskets is one product which will really help you do that. What's the latest price of Altius? Please explain future prospects and plans. Mr. Narendra, I would request that questions regarding to Altius's own plans and share prices, we can take it offline. I think we had one earlier question from Mr. Patel also, so we can take that offline. My number is there. Kindly reach out. We are happy to discuss and take any feedback that there is. Is there a way to increase or decrease exposure to suggested companies from the basket? Yes, Rohan, what you basket is a fixed collection of investments. But if there is, say, a company which where when you want to invest more of your money, then you can actually buy it out separately, additionally from the normal investing page. The baskets themselves are not editable, so whatever is visible is what is supposed to be bought out. Lava valuation at current market price in the unlisted space. Mr. Malu. So, Lava is a good company. I think what about Lava I like is that it is the only smartphone manufacturer in India which is still alive and kicking. It is the recipient of the PLI scheme, which I think will really help them, build out their manufacturing, facilities in India. And as people start avoiding Chinese-made products, I think that will really help Lava. But that being said, Lava has not been able to make a dent in the space. The pricing has come down from 250 to 135, 130, 140 rupees. At this point, also, my personal thought will be to stay away from Lava uh, because I don't really find too much value there right now. But that is definitely something which is on our radar. And if we see some green shoots in their efforts to, transform themselves, we would certainly keep you posted on that. Please bring new company on our platform like other platforms so we can invest in it. Yes, Mr. Patel, definitely taken feedback taken. We are launching a lot of new products and a lot of new companies. We have a good pipeline for the next 1 year, which we have established. So going forward, you will be seeing a lot more opportunities which are not there in the market, and you, as users of Altius, will get the first access to it. Do you also offer an NSE in lots, as some of the pre-IPO members are specifying that it is available in higher lots? Champion Wealth Creators, yes, NSE is available in retail blocks also with Altius. Please connect with our team to get specific inputs on that. The data is actually available on the website, so you can just go to dashboard and you can search for NSE. You will find the lot size, you will find the current pricing. You can place an order and our team will then get in touch with you to help you execute. Elophic Industries looks very good. Arjun says, yeah, I agree. Elophic looks good. The pricing is now at a very rationalized level. The industry is very niche. I like companies in niche industries. So Elophic, for the general masses, it is a company which creates auto ancillary parts. Earlier, it was around a 2,500 rupee pricing, which was insanely high. Now it is rationalized to around 1500, 1600. So definitely you can look at Elophic. Kushal, any drone related companies on your portal would you recommend to buy? Kushal, please connect with our team separately. We have two drone led startups available. We will try and help you get an investment into that. What is the prime advantage of investing in pre IPO versus through exchange? So Kishore, we had covered this in our earlier webinar, but just to again help you get a clarity on that, pre-IPO you get access to companies which are not available in the exchanges at all. So say if you wanted to invest into pharma delivery, there is no company which is on the exchange. So the idea of pre-IPO is that you will get to invest into new ideas. Second is there is a lot of value unlocking which happens when liquidity gets introduced. So if you invest into anything at an early stage, the returns which you generate on its listing are manifold, right? And there is a certain value unlocking which happens when an IPO comes out. And that is what we are trying to capture by investing into the pre-IPO space. Uh, Next question is, if you bring small, good businesses, companies onto our platform, then multi-bagger potential is high. Yes, we are onto that, like we discussed. We'll be launching smaller companies with lower market caps, a little more early stage investing. And if you go to the alternate assets section, you will be able to see that we have also created a startup section wherein you can actually go and look at new startups which are available for investment into our through our platform. These will be in slightly larger ticket sizes, but these will be very early stage companies. So you will be able to get access to those. Could you please add PPB ratios? Uh, so I think Alok, this is already there on the website, but just to help you out with those again, if you go to say um, the dashboard and if you click on any company, say just for example, if we go to HDFC Securities, uh, this is where you will get the price graph. This is where you'll get the price graph. This is where you'll get the price to equity, price to sales, price to book, dividend yield, face value, share capital, market cap, sales. So every possible ratio which is available for a listed company is what we have also mentioned out to you here. So you'll find the entire gamut of ratios which you need to compare. If you want to see detailed financials, you can come out here into the balance sheet in the P&L section. You'll find the last 6-year balance sheet uploaded onto our platform, both balance sheet and P&L. You can find both standalone and consolidated balance sheets. Uh, you can go to the shareholding section to understand who is holding the company, what is the shareholding by the majority shareholders. You can go to the press section to read about the company's latest sort of news pieces. You can see the ratio analysis section here. So just for example, HDFC had a 48% growth in 18, 11% growth in 20, as 59% growth in 21. So everything which you need to understand, or every piece of data which is available, we have tried and given it to you here in a very concise format. Even here you can find all of the dividends which have been announced by the company here. And Alok, I can sort of give you an assurity that this level of data and this level of uh, deep dive is not there today uh, at all available with anyone. And if there is still anything which you would want us to add, please let me know. I am happy to sort of take feedback and add it out. Uh, Knowledge center, what is pharma delivery? Pharma delivery is, I was referring to the operations of PharmEasy. Any plans to launch SIP as a pre-IPO? Suresh, very interesting idea. We have thought about it. We are not very sure on how we will make that happen. But once we have some method to get it done, we'll certainly try and bring out that kind of a product. Any take on Fino and PharmEasy? Should they be bought at CMP? Fino, you can look at Fino is not a bad investment right now. It's small banking sector is supposed to do good with the credit growth, and Fino has rationalized, so therefore the pricing is logical right now. Farm Easy, you can, but I would still suggest not to, but abstain, primarily because as I had mentioned, unicorns and tech unicorns are not really the flavor of the year. And therefore, while Pharmacy was also rationalized, they had done their last issue at around 50 rupees or 47 rupees. Now it's at a 25 rupee multiple. But in any case, I would not be very gung ho on any of the non profit making companies for the foreseeable future. Aizaz is asking, are you planning for an Altius app? Yes, Aizaz, thank you for asking that question. We have been working on a launch of our app as well. We will bring that app on to you for somewhere around end of Jan or early Feb. Uh, We will reach out to you both in webinars and in our mailers, and we will keep you informed. But the app is very close to completion, and we will launch it in the next 20 days. What are your views on Bazaar India, Vikram Solar? Vikram Solar is very expensive in terms of multiple. Bazaar India is rationalized. It's a very small company. Uh, Retail, while doing good, I have not really liked Bazaar India's operations that much. Uh, it will not be in our must buys, but certainly you can look at it. Uh, Mr. Alok is asking what are the regulations for exiting pre IPO lock in? Can I sell right before IPO? So, Alok, you can invest at any point of time, you can exit at any point of time before the listing date. On listing date, as per SEBI norms, the company will go for a 180-day lock-in, as you have rightly mentioned, for 6 months. And post 6 months, you will have to sell it on the exchange itself. But in the pre-IPO space, you can buy today and sell tomorrow. Then you can again hold buy the day after next and sell it till right before the IPO date. Are you planning to launch an AIF of pre-IPO? There are a number of AIFs of pre-IPOs already existing. So a lot of the larger institutions are already doing that. So you can probably we can help you identify products in that range of Kotak, of uh, Edelweiss, of IIFL. Altius does not have an AIF at this point of time. Can you please give your views on Mohan Mekin, Lifestyle, and Lotte? Mohan Mekin is a good company. I like the beverage space. I like the current valuations with Mohan Mekin is at. Lifestyle is also in a differentiated space. So, if you've not heard of Lifestyle, it is into stem cell research and storing of baby fluids. But lifestyle again, there is no supply in the market. Therefore, I have not really focused into it. Lotte India, to be honest, we have not covered. So at this point, I will not be in a position to comment on Lotte India. Uh, can you add peg ratio? Certainly. I think that's a good suggestion, Kishore. Please allow us some time. We will try to collate all of the data points required for a peg ratio and we will try and get it added. Thank you. Srinath is asking, hi, your take on MSC. MSC, I do not recommend for investing because it's so MSC for the broader audience is Metropolitan Stock Exchange. They have tried to sort of revive volumes on their exchange, but in the last 1.5, 2 years, that has not really happened. There are very few companies which are listed on their portal. So I will not be very excited about MSC. It is more like a lottery ticket. It is available at exactly its face value. So if you invest and somehow the exchange is able to turn itself, you might hit it big. But as the current flow is going, I don't think they have been able to generate any volumes on their platform. Ganesh, Mohan Mekin, I have just covered. Mohan Mekin, for the broader audience, is the manufacturer of the Old Monk rum. It is a very old company. It is very stable in its product line. Last couple of years, it has come up with innovative products in Tetra packing. It has come up with new products in the Scotch segment. And overall, the valuation also looks good. You can definitely consider it. For more specific guidance, I'm happy to take it up on call. Are you going to launch any NBFC service like loan? No. Ankit, we are not a loan out company. We do not plan to launch any loan giving operations. Turnaround time, buy or sell, going to improve move forward in your portal, Rajesh. So, Rajesh, our time currently is the best in the industry. We will, if you invest through our platform, you get delivery of shares within 4 to 5 hours. While we are always trying to improve ourselves, doing better might be a little difficult, but we are happy to take that as a feedback and try to make it a little more faster. Uh, ESDS IPO. Satyanarayan, we are not covering ESDS in a lot of detail. If you want more information on that, I will have to go back and read about it a little more so that I can give you an educated answer. So if you want, we are happy to connect on a call. Uh, Next question is Endophil PE is very attractive. Can we buy? Arjun, Indophil has been one of our favorite companies. We have personally been holding Indophil for the last 5 years, but we have not made any money on it because it has been at the exact same price for the last 5 years. Majorly, I think it is because the management is not very stable. So after Mr. CK Birla had passed away, the whole and soul of the company is not very stable. The industry is very attractive. Specialty chemicals is something which I really like. But specifically, if you ask, Indophil is for someone who has I don't expect it to go down, but I don't know how soon it will give you a profit. Because from a personal experience, I've been holding Indophil in my private portfolio for at 700, 750 for the last 5 years, and it is still at the same pricing. So, that's the 2 cents from my side. Any comments on PharmEasy management pedigree can be averaged at the current price? PharmEasy management is very widely available. Mr. Aditya Puri is on their board as the chairman. Siddharth Shah, Dhaval Modi are the founders of the company. It is backed by the best private equity companies that there are. All of the uh, in terms of the management pedigree on paper, see, it is very, very attractive, right? But the problem is that the current macroeconomic scenario is not very conducive to loss making startups, and therefore you have to be careful before investing into PharmEasy. If you're already holding, and if you think that yes, PharmEasy and Tata M1MG are only the two players which are going to make it big in the e-pharma come lab testing space, you can choose to average it. That's my summary on it. Uh, Right click does not allow opening a link in a new tab. I would love to open multiple companies in new tab, check them all out. Definitely, point taken, Mr. Alok. We will again have this. To my team, which is on the call, please note these 2 points from Mr. Alok and let's work on implementing them. What is your take on Orbis? Orbis is a good company, Mr. Revan. It is a recent company. It's a fairly new company. So for the larger audience, Orbis basically provides custodian, trusteeship, and DP services. It's based out of Delhi. They are trying and coming. They are trying to raise private equity funding also. Valuation wise, I think it is at a reasonable level. We had actually sort of asked our investors to look at it at somewhere around 68, 69. Currently at 84, 85, it is at a decent valuation. I will not say that it is cheap. Uh, Multiples, I think we will have to check. Mr. Even if you want, we can again connect for Orbis on a separate call and look at it. Rohan is asking, what is the Mohan Mekin IPO timeline? IPO timeline, there is no clarity, Rohan. There has been no communication from the company on an IPO. So I really can't, give you any more data on that. Mark is asking, what's your take on Bira? Bira has done good business, but the losses have grown in sync with the growth in revenue. Share price for Bira has stayed stagnant at around 750, 800 for the last 2 to 3 years. If you think Bira is going to make it big, if they are able to turn a profit, uh, you could look at an investment into it. In terms of data and facts, most of Bira's investor have stayed put. Sequoia is still there. They had raised a recent round from Kirin Holdings. So overall, I think Bira is in a much better place than where it was earlier. So that's majorly it. Uh, So yeah, so your take on MKCL. MKCL again, we'll have to connect one to one. Not very deep dive analysis which we have done. It's very thinly traded. MKCL is Maharashtra Knowledge Corporation Limited. In last year, it was doing really well. There was a lot of demand and a lot of confidence. Uh, your take on Bira, we have covered. Your portal is not readable on mobile, but is not very readable on mobile, but not on laptop and desktop. Is this known issue? We use Chrome. Mr. Rajesh, we would like to understand that in a little more depth. We have not faced this issue. So if you could drop your number, or I can drop my number on the chat. It's 903-851-7269. Uh, so if you could just please reach out to us, we would be very happy to understand what is the exact issue which we are facing. And if there is something which is absolutely possible, we'll try and implement that for you. Uh, Ruhan is asking a very interesting question which I wanted to actually cover. Why are you recommending Exigo in your basket as this too is a tech startup? So Ruhan, while I completely agree with you that Exego is a tech startup and like we said, tech is not the flavor of the month, but Exego is a unique case because the valuation at which Exego is available is somewhat making sense to us, right? And if you go through the investing rationale for Exego, you will find what we have been trying to sort of give our 2 cents on Exego. And if you obviously want more clarifications, I have dropped my number on the chat box. Please reach out to me. Always excited to have a chat with all of my investors and have some interesting conversations. Uh, in cognizance of time, we have covered more than I think 100 questions, and we have had over 1 hour of webinar time. We would not want to take up more of your time. For any more questions, please reach out to us on our mail IDs, on our websites, on our uh, phone numbers, and we'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you. Thank you all of the people who took out time from their lives to hear me speak. It has been a pleasure interacting with you. Wish you a excellent investing journey and a great new year. Thank you so much.